Starfavor is not a new company when it comes to making musical instruments, but they are brand new to making electric guitars. And they are coming in hot with this Relic S60 series. And we're going to go through it together today, right here on Geargasms. Hi everybody, welcome to Geargasms. I'm your host, Alan Barnes. Today, I got this brand new Relic Stratocaster guitar from Starfavor. Who's Starfavor, you ask? And I'm going to answer that in just a second. But first, if you're new to this channel, I'd like to beg you to like and subscribe. This channel is kind of like Behringer. Behringer. Celebrate mediocrity. But yeah, Starfavor is entering the electric guitar market. And they picked yours truly, little old me, to be the very first YouTube pinhead to bring this guitar to the world, to show it to you all. Here's what's interesting, the most interesting thing about them coming into market. They're coming in at $499 with this one. What? $499? That's a big price for a brand new guitar company. You saw a few weeks ago we did a, what guitar would I buy for $500? There are a lot of really solid choices at that price point, but let's talk about some of the things that those guitars don't have. First of all, this guitar came with a hard shell case, a Tweed hard shell case. You ain't getting no case from Squire or any of them other companies. That phone, you ain't even getting a gig bag. Fender ain't even gonna give you a gig bag for a Made in Mexico Player Series Strat. Hard shell case. Let's talk about some of the specs of the guitar itself. This is a basswood body. It has a lovely 3-ply tortoiseshell pick guard, 1 volume, 2 tones, 5-way stretch, standard Strat type 6-point bridge, 3 pickups, and they're calling them Fat 60s, but they're kind of mysterious in terms of the magnet type that they use. It has a very substantial, in a good way, soft C-shaped neck. It reminds me of my Strat, my American Vintage Strat, as far as the profile. Now, the radius is not listed. It's got to be at least 12, if not 14. It's not a 9.5. It's not that Strat feel, but I like that. Like I said, basswood body, maple neck, Indian rosewood fretboard, sort of narrow vintage frets, 21 frets, a nut, regular like Fender looking style closed-back tuners. Now let's talk about the finish. Relics. Me and Relics are not friends. I think they're a poser city for the most part. It's cosplay for hipsters. But now that I have one, I think they're cool. One thing though I do love about this is this matte satin finish. Now as far as Relics go, I'm not the best judge of what's the most realistic. They did a little something here and there. The fun thing about this, probably for me, is if I want to jack it up some more, maybe put some cigarette burn somewhere or sort of, vibe it in. It's very, very light, and that's not surprising. That's because it's made of basswood. Now, Starfavor sent this over to me. That makes it a sponsored video. That makes it so you see the little paid promotion box on the corner of the screen. But if you all know by now, doesn't matter what you send me, I'm gonna tell you what I think of it. So we're gonna travel back in time. We're gonna unbox it. We're gonna lay it on the bench for the initial go over. We're gonna plug it into a Mesa Boogie, and then we're gonna see what is what. Okay, everybody, it's the boxings you crave. And I'm actually looking forward to this one, as much as I hate doing these, just because I'm interested. Now, just so you know, they did double box this Sweetwater style, but that was just way too big to deal with. High marks for the box. Jesus, man, this thing is maybe the most well-packed guitar I have ever seen, because then you can't see it. You get this sheet of foam. Over the struggles. They're real. Double boxed, real solid frame. They built the foam around this, none of the inflatable bullshit. It's just gonna be inelegant. Oh, we ready? What's in the box? Oh, it's like one of those little sachet smelly things they put in with clothes. That's cool. God bless America, look at this. Can you see? A very, very good looking certificate that you can't see. This looks very much like, you know, like how Fender does it up. Oh man, look. Look at that. D'Addario strings in this. That is kick ass, because I'm gonna put new strings on it. Are they 9s? They're 9s. It's like they know me.
This is your mom.
I am genuinely thrilled. I am not YouTube shill thrilled. You know, that paid half fake enthusiasm that we YouTubers do.
Oh, yeah.
When we're being paid to say something that's not true. In this case, I am genuinely psyched and stoked about this. Strings off of this. We're gonna take it apart, do some checkout, and then we'll plug it in and rock and roll. All right, I did a quick tune-up, and the first thing I noticed, the nut. Just visually, I noticed it was really high. So what that means to those of you that don't know is if the nut is cut a little too high on the strings, those first few frets will be out of tune. It's not a knock against Starfavor. They all do it. They all do it. Squire, Fender. When we're doing nut stuff, I basically just loosen the strings. Like Trogley and Phil McKnight. Nice. Let's see how big it is at the nut. What that width is. Oh, 36.5 millimeters. Is that right? I also have this. I'm going to check like level of frets. That's always fun. So let's get into these nuts.
That's what she
slots. These nuts. We've talked about this before, but in case you've never seen this done, when you're cutting a nut, less is more. Very lightly drag it across the nut slot. Try to pull down towards the headstock at an angle this way, because that's where the strings pull down. So let's get a little nut kissing going on here. See a little dust. This is the front end that goes towards that. Do you see what I was doing? Yeah, you need to tune into my channel for how to work on gear, because you know I got my shit together. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. You want to hear it sawing in there. You want to know you're doing damage. Now, it's important why I'm using a different nut file for every string is, you know, they're gauged, just like the nut slots, just like strings are. Okay, I'm sort of going full Trogley McKnight mode on this here guitar. This is not something I ordinarily do with my own guitars or even guitars that I review. Why? If things work, I don't need to see what's underneath there. It's like my car. I've maybe opened the hood of my car 3 times in the 6 years that I've owned it.
I do not care.
I don't need to know. If it's working good, I don't need to know. It's like underneath your house. Do you need to know what's going on down there? Does your heat work? Is electricity going through them cables? And your landline telephone, these are always a little tight. Let's see what we got. Let's look inside the cavity. These solder joints look to be okay. The capacitors are probably of pretty good quality. I don't know. These mini pots are, the soldering looks good. These pickups though, I can't quite identify what they are. This cavity looks actually pretty clean. They finished inside it.
That's what she
All
said.
Trogley McKnight kidding aside, this cavity is clean. These cuts are clean. But yeah, this cavity is really, really well done. So we don't know what kind of pickups we have as a result of that. But that's really good, a good looking cavity.
You naughty, naughty. You teasing me, you naughty,
You all are
naughty.
filthy. So I'm gonna take a little bit of lemon oil. I'm gonna juice this fingerboard. I'm gonna do like I did on the Squire, and I'm gonna polish these frets, get them nice and purty, and then I'm gonna restring it. We're gonna plug it in, and we're gonna see what is up. While I tune up, my signal path is the Mesa Boogie. We're going straight in. Got the pedal board running, a little bit of reverb. All right, and you guys know I always tell you the truth, so I gotta admit something. You know, I shot all the bench stuff yesterday on this, and I decided when I had it all put back together, I was like, I'm gonna play it, and just to make sure it's not a dog, because I'm not gonna waste any more time shooting this thing if I just gotta send it back. I plugged it in the Mesa last night. I played for like over a half hour. I was just gonna check and make sure it wasn't a dog. I enjoyed it so much. So this is not my first rodeo with this here guitar. These pickups, they're supposed to be like 60s fat. They're nice. This is the bridge pickup. Not tremendously ice picky. It has that Strat pop, position 2. We're just gonna go through all 4 positions. Enough talking. That was position 1. Skinner test. Neck. Just use the whammy bar. The whammy bar is very stiff. So yeah, these pickups, the fat 60s, I gotta say it, they remind me of the pickups that are in my American original vintage 60s Strat. They really do. I don't know what's in them. I wouldn't change these pickups. I love these pickups. Did I show you the tone controls? I didn't. The first tone is for the neck. And then the second tone is for the middle pickup. Let's move on to crunch. It's just as easy as doing this. Let's see how this goes. That's one of my least favorite combinations is crunch and the bridge pickup. Let's move on. Let's get away from that quick. You can tell which tone I like. It's just a glorious combination of the neck pickup and the crunch. Yeah, I love that neck pickup with a crunch. Oh man, it's so great. Especially when I miss the notes. On to the heavy gain. All right, we are on the Mark IV mode of the Mesa Boogie. Still nothing but a little reverb. I'd screwed up on purpose to fool the copyright police. Let's try the other pickups. That was one. Before we give up on the chug, let's try a chug with clean boost. That's only fair, right? So this is boostless chug, bridge pickup. Not much difference. Added some hiss though, didn't it? Let's try clone. Out. All right, it'll chug with a clone. How about that? Oh, that sounds nice. I got a little cold too. I'm not snorting the cocaine. Let's try some pinch harmonics. There it is. Since this is a brand new guitar from a company that's brand new to making guitars, I want to do a quick review and overview. some of the things you saw along the way. Let's talk about all the good stuff first, and there's a ton of good stuff. This body feels great. The paint feels great. All the wiring inside we saw in the cavity was great. The cavity was clean. These pickups, oh my goodness. These pickups, I love them. I don't know what you put in here, but they are gorgeous. They are everything I like about a really vintagey vibe sort of Strat pickup. They are great. The neck, the back of the neck is finished just perfectly. It is so smooth, and yet it still has that sort of yellowed patina, how do you say that? You know, it's very much lighter here in the middle where you would play, and then darker there like it would have aged. It's just gorgeous. Cosmetically, they paid a lot of attention. I love the way that the neck feels to play. It feels good in the hand. Even unplugged, this guitar is super resonant. I like the headstock shape. It's just enough different from Fender to keep them out of court, but it's not weird looking. It just looks really classy. Everything about the visual package of this thing is super, super classy looking. I love that. Now let's just talk about a couple nitpicky things. As with all guitars these days, I had to cut the nut a little bit. And again, because I had to cut it, you've seen me cut Fender, you've seen me cut Squier, cut. So I think with just a little bit of improvement there on the nut, that would be good. The frets, I polished them up, but I didn't really capture them in a good picture. They're very discolored, the fret wire, but it doesn't seem to be contamination per se, and it's not rough frets, because that's part of the reason I polished them. It's like they're so dull. I think that's deliberate. I think they're going for that, again, that vintage vibe, and kudos to them if that's the case. Yeah, there were some little marks along the frets. I don't know if those were saw marks, just to the outside of the frets, a little something to clean up. Again, super nitpicky. I didn't see any finish flaws that weren't deliberate. The only other thing, and I haven't had a chance to mess with the springs yet, is this trem bar is super, super stiff, man. It is way too stiff. But I like the fact that it's a little stiff, but maybe just too much. Again, that's an adjustment. Beyond that, there is nothing wrong with this guitar at all. And for $500 with a case, that is crazy. That's a crazy value. What did we learn today? We learned that Starfavor is coming in hot. Brand new to the guitar market, but they came in with a winner at a really attractive price point for everything that you get with it. We also learned that the Mesa Boogie Mark 525 was a glorious and beautiful companion, and it matched really, really well with these vintage pickups. And finally, we learned, as we've learned in the past, that if you have vintage flavored single coil pickups, they ain't gonna chug. As always, I thank you for the time that you spend with the channel. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Tell some of your ratty ass, unctuous, Section 8, ghetto, trailer park, government cheese eating friends about Geargasms. You know they are my people. We've got merch. Have I talked about merch before? In fact, I'm wearing a glorious new design for the fall-winter season. There's a link in the description. Whatever you do in the next 7 days, don't tell Eminem about it. He's over 50 and just wants to fight everybody all the time. Son, the only thing you should be fighting at your age is middle of the night frequent urination. But play more guitar. Watch less of this. Keep coming back here week after week for more Geargasms.